Today we're going to explore a real castle that was built in the 15th century. It's located in Castella near Split in Dalmatia. It's a place where great love story happened in the 17th century. The story was told from generation to generation and inspired a book that was written in the 19th century and many research papers and articles since then. But is it true? Join me. Let's find out. We are back in a beautiful and ancient Dalmatia. You're probably a history buff since you're still with me, so I must warn you, visiting this part of the world could be an overwhelming experience. There's evidence that people lived in this area for over 39,000 years, starting with Neanderthals, Greeks, Illyrians, who resisted the Romans for a long time, Romans, then Croats, Hungarians, Venetians, Turkish Ottomans, and many others. Throughout Dalmatia, you'll see remnants of different civilizations and fortifications, like this tower next to St. Michael's of Lajan church above Castella. It was built to defend this area from the surging Ottoman Empire in the 15th and 16th century. In this mountain, there's a cave that archaeologists are certain was used by Neanderthal people in the prehistoric time over 40,000 years ago. And below this mountain, it's a location of an ancient city, Siculi. The settlement was fortified, and the plan is very similar to the Greek settlement discovered on the island of Isa, or today Vis, which was inhabited by Greeks in the 4th century before Christ. The archaeologists and locals found many household ceramic and ornamental items from Hellenistic and Roman times here. Isn't it interesting that the name Siculi is identical to that old tribe of Siculi or Sekeloi, which present-day Sicily was named after? The Siculi tribe were indigenous people who inhabited eastern Sicily when Greeks began colonizing that island in the 8th century before Christ. I couldn't find any reliable information about people who destroyed the Siculi settlement in Dalmatia. Was it Romans or Dalmatian Illyrians?
At my signal, unleash hell.
However, it was restored by Romans in the 1st century. The Roman military veterans retired here. The map from the 1st century shows that this was a bigger settlement than nearby Salona. Salona was a Roman capital of Dalmatia that we explored in the last episode of the Ancient Dalmatia series.
I'm looking for ancient stones and port. I know there was a port here somewhere. Probably under the sea level.
This site is still not completely excavated, especially the submerged ancient port.
I wish I'm an archaeologist. They can probably look at this stuff and see if it's ancient or not. To me, this cut looks too perfect, too clean. What do you think?
Croatia is a small country, and unfortunately it doesn't have resources to protect and fully research all of its historical treasures. So it's no different with this ancient location. But it's a privilege to have a non-restricted access to these ancient walls.
Notice now that I live in a real castle. And as I told you before, my name is Dobrila Vittori. You are here on amazing Adriatic coastline, amazing Adriatic area, but all this is actually own of my family. And we are nobility from Trogir. This is our emblem of the family Vittori. That's the reason why I have today to really warmly welcome you in a blue dress. And this is the biggest castle. Just nearby is Rossani family castle, and every day Miljenko spent the time here with me. When I announced to my family that I'm in love, and then father says, "To whom?" I said, "To Miljenko." We will see. I was very surprised with that. Suddenly, my father opened the gate and says, "Where is my daughter?" I was asked, maybe Clara, that is my sister. "No, I want to talk with you. I don't want to see any more Miljenko here." And that's what he wished. He wished to marry me to Trogir nobility family, and he didn't want that I'm getting married to Miljenko. I didn't want to go out of even my bedroom. I was just sitting there. I was thinking about the great memories, about the childhood.
Dobrila's father arranged her marriage to a prominent but older gentleman from Trogir. Miljenko quickly returned from his military service in Venice to disrupt the wedding ceremony. The townspeople were shocked by these events, and Miljenko was exiled to a monastery on Visor, a small but beautiful lake island on the river Krka. Francesco was really upset with Miljenko, who dared to challenge his authority, and he sent Dobrila to St. Nicholas Monastery. That was not the end of the drama. Dobrila escaped the monastery and went to Visor to meet with her lover. They decided to marry in a church on the island. Dobrila's father found out about it and immediately sent his messengers to Visor. Conte Francesco forgave them and promised his blessings if they returned to Kaštela. Miljenko and Dobrila were finally happy and returned to their home. However, this was a ploy to get him out of hiding. They finally married in a small church near a castle. After the wedding ceremony, on the way to their home, they stopped at a drawbridge in front of Vittori Castle.
That bridge for me is the bloody bridge. I just noticed that my father took a gun and put it away, and the love of my life fell down on my hands.
Dobrila fell ill a few months later, died and was buried next to her husband in St. John the Baptist Church, just across from Rossani Castle. People of Kaštela remember them and mark their grave, Pokoj ljubavnikom, or Rest in Peace Lovers, around the early 1800s. So is this story true? The church books from the 17th century with all the birth dates, deaths and wedding records are lost. So it's impossible to verify if Miljenko, his father and mother even existed. But we know that Dobrila, Clara, Francesco and the rest of the Vituri family existed. However, the author changed their first names in the novel. Today, in Trogir, you'll find evidence of the Vituri family's power and prestige. The Vituri family tower is the most prominent building on the south gate of the town. Also, the Vituri family emblem is in the local museum. Francesco died in 1679 and is resting in St. Nicholas Monastery in Trogir. So what do you think, my dear friend? We can't be certain one way or the other, but I like to believe that some of it is true. Today we witness plenty of evidence of how cruel humans can be to nature, animals, and each other. We need stories to remind us that humans are still capable of mercy, peace, and love. Do you miss old movies and the way those special human emotions were so beautifully captured on the screen? No special effects and no expensive budgets.
You're doing me a favor.
Richard, you're the kindest man I ever met.
And I don't want to get married ever to anyone. You understand that? And you're...
George.
Yes, people are still capable of love, and we are living proof of that. I love this land, people, and its history, and can't wait to come back for another adventure. Keep traveling, my friend, and remember, aspire to be more than just a tourist. Be an explorer, and you'll return home a more understanding, knowing, and loving person.
Who I am. Of course that I'm not Dobrila Vituri. My name is Sandra, and it was my pleasure